I'm Adam.
And I'm Rex.
And this is Where There's a Williams,
There's a Way.
Hey Rex, have you ever done something to help an animal out?
Like what?
For instance, I live not too far from a pond. Occasionally we find turtles in a yard or in a street. When that happens, we carry them over to the pond and return them to their house.
One time there was an armadillo that had been hit by a car. I brought him home, nursed him back to health, and let him live with me for 5 months. His name is Manny, and he still sends me Christmas cards every year.
Wow! How was that not something you thought about immediately?
To save a life, you saved many.
That's an amazing story, Rex. In today's book, we learn about man-made structures that were built to help animals. Let's get started. Crossings, Extraordinary Structures for Extraordinary Animals. Written by Katy S. Duffield. Illustrated by Mike Orodán. Over, under, across, through. Around the world, construction crews build overpasses, underpasses, bridges and tunnels, ways for people to get from one place to another. But what about the animals that live in these places? What happens when construction spreads over, under, across, and through their habitats? Around the world, in search of solutions, animal lovers come together. Over, under, across, through. Opening their minds and their hearts, they work to find ideas, answers. Construction crews work again, but these structures aren't for traveling people. They're for traveling animals. A bull elk picks his way through evergreens over a noisy Canadian highway. The Trans-Canadian Highway is home to more than 40 wildlife overpasses and underpasses. And the crossings don't just benefit elk. Bears, wolves, cougars, bighorn sheep, and other animals use the crossings too. A mama elephant thunders under a crowded Kenyan road. For many years, two groups of elephants, one from Mount Kenya's highlands and another from the plains and forests below, have been separated by a major highway. But with the addition of an elephant underpass, the two groups can now reconnect and share habitats.
I've never thought about elephants being endangered due to traffic.
That's one thing I would never want to hit with my car. I think it may have a better chance of survival than me.
Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success.
Did you just make that up right now?
No, Edward Everett Hale said it.
Who's that?
He was an author born in 1822.
How do you remember all these quotes?
Nothing is ever really lost to us as long as we remember it.
Who said that one?
L.M. Montgomery.
Regardless, I think that it's pretty cool that an underpass didn't just provide safety for the elephants, but it also opened a passageway to connect the group. Squirrel gliders skitter across woven rope bridges stretched high above an Australian freeway. Hume Highway, used for about 10,000 vehicles per day, was an extremely hazardous route for squirrel gliders. But now, thanks to the addition of rope bridges above the busy road, squirrel gliders can cross safely to breed and to find food. Blue penguins hustle home to their chicks through a tiny tunnel beneath the New Zealand pavement. The blue penguins of Oamaru travel to the sea for food, but nest on the land. At sunset, the birds were forced to cross a busy road to get back to the chicks in their nest, until a lighted underpass was built to assist them. And once they discovered the safe crossing, the little birds made it their daily route. Red crabs scuttle up, and over an Australian bridge that leads up to the Indian Ocean. Every year, sometime between October and January, millions of red crabs leave the forests of Christmas Island and head for the Indian Ocean, where female crabs will lay their eggs. Specially built crab bridges help keep the brightly colored crustaceans out of harm's way on their journeys. Florida panthers slip, slink under the roar of traffic above. Over time, the Florida panther's habitat has dwindled to almost nothing. Wildlife crossings help keep the animals away from the dangers of the roadways and open up broader areas for these endangered animals to grow and thrive. TT monkeys tightrope across blue rope bridges that keep them safe above a Costa Rican road. Costa Rica's smallest species of monkeys, the TT, is endangered. A group of young people, kids saving the rainforest, found a solution to help save them. Thick blue ropes strung across roads enabled the monkeys to move safely from one side to the other. That's cool that kids came up with the idea for this. It's so simple. Not only is there beauty in the simplicity of the ropes, it is great to see young people joining in on helping these animals.
Well, you know what John F. Kennedy said about children?
No, I have no idea.
He said, "Children are the world's most valuable resource and its hope for the future."
That's true. As these young people grow up, they will hopefully be able to see the impact of their actions towards these little monkeys.
Have you ever done something like that?
It's nothing as big as that, but there was a time when I was probably 10 years old and walking home from school. Someone's garbage can rolled into the street and a bunch of cars were swerving to avoid hitting it. I grabbed the can and put it in someone's driveway.
What happened?
A man pulled over and asked me if it was my garbage can or house. When I told him no, he told me that the world needed more people like me. People that take selfless action.
That's really nice.
I thought so. So, I thought about that stranger many times over the years and always tried to be someone who takes action. Spotted salamanders shimmy through pee-wee passageways beneath a Massachusetts street. Each spring, as evening temperatures begin to rise, spotted salamanders in North Amherst head for the ponds where they will breed. Tiny crossings, aided by fencing to help the little guys, were installed to help keep their travels safe. Coyotes creep over the rush of Arizona motorists below. Coyotes and many other animals, including javelinas, bobcats, rabbits, quail, deer, foxes, roadrunners, and skunks, use the crossings in Arizona. Black bear cubs follow mama under a Montana highway. Before wildlife crossings were built on Highway 93 in Montana, engineers teamed up with biologists to search for the perfect place to build the crossings. They used sandpits to record animal footprints, even counted poop piles to discover the animals' favorite crossing spots. Pangolins teeter-totter toward their burrows across the Singapore Expressway. When the Bukit Timah Expressway in Singapore was built, it cut a wide swath of rainforest in two. The busy 6-lane roadway kept critically endangered Sunda pangolins from food, shelter, and mates. But today, the hourglass-shaped wildlife bridge helps them safely find their way to the other side. A koala saunters through a tunnel along a ledge below an Australian road. Koalas can swim but prefer to keep their feet dry, a problem for crossings in low areas that can be full of water. To entice the furry marsupials to use the underpasses, workers added ledges and logs that act as bridges above the wet ground. Over, under, across, through. Around the world, these unique structures protect animals, living proof that opening our minds and our hearts can make all the difference.
Humans are the worst. No offense, Adam.
What do you mean? Look at all the good things that were done in this book to help animals out.
Helping animals out? They only needed help because humans built roads through their habitat.
Humans are definitely the dominant species on this planet, and we may not have the best history of taking care of those around us, but I think we as a planet have started to realize that life is better when we coexist. That applies on so many different levels.
It's like Mahatma Gandhi said, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated."
Well said. If you think this video has treated you well, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. I'm Adam.
And I'm Rex.
And this is Where There's a Williams, there's a way. Wildlife crossings around the world. Kenya, elephants. The 15-foot-high tunnel that sits below Mount Kenya is believed to be the first elephant underpass built in Africa. To attract the elephants to the tunnel, workers lined the ground beneath it with hay and elephant dung, and their efforts paid off. Within a few weeks of its opening, a bull elephant named Tony made the first trek beneath the road. Singapore, Sunda pangolins. To help shy Sunda pangolins and other animals feel at home on the Bukit Timah Expressway crossing, 3,000 trees and shrubs were planted to entice the animals to make their way across the wildlife bridge. Christmas Island, Australia, red crabs. Adult crabs aren't the only ones using the crab bridge. When they're old enough, baby crabs leave the ocean waters and journey along the same route that their parents took. But instead of going toward the sea, the babies head inland where they hide, live, and grow until they're big enough to venture out. Australia, koalas. When searching for ways to keep koalas safe from traffic, experts believe that overpasses might not work. Koalas often don't feel secure in the open, so researchers created underpasses that worked perfectly for the temperament of the furry marsupials. Australia, squirrel gliders. Over the years, land around northeast Victoria has steadily been cleared for farming. This clearing cost Australia's squirrel gliders much of their treetop habitat. The only big trees left, those containing special hollows where squirrel gliders like to nest, were located near roadsides in the busy Hume Highway, leading to increased danger for the animals. New rope bridges help keep them safe. New Zealand, blue penguins. Blue penguins, also known as little penguins or fairy penguins, are the world's smallest penguins. The tiny birds have been in decline, but officials are continually looking for new ways to build up their numbers, and the tunnel crossings in Oamaru has been one waddle in the right direction. Trans-Canada Highway, Banff National Park, elk. To help elk and other animals find their way across the highway, fencing is installed in some areas to guide the animals toward the wildlife crossings. Elk were the first large animals to use the Banff crossings. Some even made the trip across while the crossings were still under construction. Montana, USA, black bears. A section of US Highway 93 in northwestern Montana is home to more than 40 bears, grizzly bears, mountain lions, moose, elk, river otters, and other animals have been filmed or photographed using the underpasses. Massachusetts, USA, spotted salamanders. The 10-inch high, 6-inch wide crossings built along Henry Street in North Amherst have slotted tops to allow moisture into tunnels. Dampness is important for the spotted salamanders. It helps the estimated 100 to 200 amphibians that cross beneath the road each year to keep from drying out on their journeys. Arizona, USA, coyotes. Game cameras snap photos of animals as they cross the Arizona overpasses and underpasses, and some animals can be a little picky about what type of crossing they use. While coyotes don't seem to have a preference, javelinas and bobcats prefer using underpasses, while most deer prefer to take the high road of the overpasses. Florida, USA, Florida panthers. Housing and other types of development have forced Florida panthers into smaller and smaller areas of land. Since estimates show that the population of these big cats range roughly between 100 and 200 animals, underpasses can provide a safe way for the skittish animals to get from one area to another to reproduce and increase their numbers. Costa Rica, TT monkeys. The number of Costa Rica's TT monkeys, also known as the Central American squirrel monkey, has dropped to fewer than 4,000 animals. But thanks to more than 125 rope bridges, the monkey's population has been increasing. Did you know the first known wildlife crossings were built in France in the 1950s? These were used to protect indigenous amphibians, badgers, ungulates, invertebrates, and other small mammals. Soon the concept of animal bridges spread throughout Europe, popping up primarily in the Netherlands.